Hi friends. So today we're going to continue to work on some math, adding numbers that have a place value of 100 or 200 or 300. So today we're just going to kind of review all the different strategies like base 10 blocks, partial sums, and number lines, believe it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. If it works, there we go. Awesome. So we're doing our solve and share. So hopefully you've done this before I am about to show you how to solve it, but please try it out on your own. So just kind of pause and try it. So what you do here, it says find 375 plus 235. Explain your strategy, then explain. Okay, easy. So I can basically pick any strategy. So you know what? I think I'm going to do partial sums just because I feel like we need some review on that because we haven't done that as much as we've done base 10 drawing our blocks. And I think we're pretty much rock stars when it comes to drawing our base 10 blocks. So I just want to do this one. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write these numbers into my chart. 375, 375, and 235. And then I'm going to draw my little line here because I know these are the numbers I'm going to add. So now I'm going to start partial summing it up. Partialing and the summoning. That's not a word, but it's fun and maybe it'll help you remember. So of course I'm going to do my hundreds first, which is, you know, let me go ahead and split this up because I have very limited space. So that's going to be for my hundreds. That's for my tens and ones. Okay, good. So my hundreds is going to be first. And I have 300. So that means that's 300 plus 200 because there's two hundreds, which is the same as 200. So if you want, remember what I said, you can work it out on the side if you want, but I know it in my head because I know that 3 plus 2 is 500 or 200, 300 plus 200 is 500. Just because it's 0, I mean, it's pretty clear to me, but if, like I said, if you want to work it out on the side, you can. So now I'm going to do my tens, which I have, I'm going to change my color to green, and I have 7 tens, which is the same as 70. So I'm going to write the number 70 plus how many tens? 3 tens, which is the same as 30. So like I said, you can go over here and do your little work on the side. Some of you guys prefer that, and that's totally fine. Just so you don't trip yourself up. So 0 plus 0 is 0, and then 7, count on 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10. I'm going to write the number 10. Oh, look at that. So the answer is 100. Remember, write it just the way it looks. You're right. You're not wrong. You're absolutely right. It is 100. Then I'm going to change my color and do my easiest part, which is adding my ones place. And it's just a 5 plus 5. And I know a lot of you guys know this by memory, by heart, because it adds up to be what? It adds up to be 10. And remember, don't write it over here because that wouldn't make sense, right? Because that's our hundreds place, right? We have 10. So it should be like this. Now we're going to get fun. It's going to be just adding it down, up and down. Now remember, don't add this because this is the original. We're adding our partial sums, which is the hundreds, the tens, and the ones, right? So obviously 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 1, easy enough, it's just 1. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. So guess what my answer is? 610 is my answer. So I wonder if you guys did it a different way. Why don't you guys try it a different way and see if you get the same answer? I'm sure you would. So that's one way to do it. That was just a quick review of partial sums. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to our visual learning for today.
Lauren and the one. How much does Lauren have on his arm?
Okay, so what Lauren did, she used the number line strategy. So she showed a jump of 126, right? Because she did one jump of 100 because she only had one in the hundreds place, which would just be 357. Notice the only place value that changed when she did that jump was the hundreds place. I mean, that's something we should kind of know by now. And then she did her tens and then her ones. So 100 plus 10 is 110. So obviously 120 and then 6. So it is 120.
We're about 126 in all, because 126 is one of the elements. What is more than 126 is different chunks. Tens and ones to add mentally. After adding all the
So the reason that she broke apart her number like that is just because it's easier to think of it that way. Think about it in place value. It's easier for me to do 257 plus 100. Oh, the hundreds place is only going to change. So it's obviously just 357. And then from 357 and I add on 10, oh, the tens place is the only place that's going to change. So 367, right? Then I'm going to do it again. Oh, 377. And then the easy part is adding your ones, right? And they just did it 3 and 3 just because maybe in their brain it's easier than just doing a big jump of 6. So it's totally up to you, whichever way it's easier for you. But just make sure when you are doing your jumps that you are doing your hundreds and then your tens and then your ones.
126. One means at 383. So 257 plus 126 equals 383. Also plus 257 plus 126. You draw three building blocks.
So this person did it another way. They did it, I think this is probably our class's favorite way, which is drawing based 10 blocks. So of course, you know, you might, like I told you guys, you could regroup in your ones place here, and you can sometimes regroup in your tens place. Just if you get to 10 when you're counting, you stop, circle it, cross it out, and trade, right? Which is what he did here. He got 10 ones, he crossed it out, and he traded it for a 10. Okay, so of course, that's another way to solve.
Ones as 110. How many ones is that? Wow.
I bet you guys know the answer to that. There are 10 ones circled, right? And you can't just leave it there. You have to circle it. You got to cross it out and trade it for a 10. And you guys know that.
Because it is regrouping the 10 ones as 110. After the regrouping, there are 3 hundreds. How many tens and ones are there?
So after he regrouped, how many ones did he have left over? Okay, so once I do that, I do 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 ones, and then of course you count your tens, and if you get to 10 tens, you stop, circle it, cross it out, and you trade it for 100. But let's see if they had to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Didn't get 10, it's just 7. So 7 tens and 3 ones. Oh, here it goes. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Miss Ortiz miscounted. It is 8 tens and 3 ones. Now, there's something you can learn from this, guys. Count carefully. Don't rush. Okay? Count carefully. I messed up at that point, but it's okay because you can check your work and recount. And when I recounted, I noticed it was 8 tens and 3 ones. Hopefully, let's see. Oh. Yay.
After regrouping, there are 8 tens and 3 ones. So they find that 257 plus 126 equals 383. Use this place value. He has the ones, the tens, and then the hundreds. Josh also finds that 2.
So of course, the other way to do it is partial sums, which is the way we kind of reviewed during our solve and share. So they, of course, they did their partial sums. I don't know why they lined it up this way, but they did their hundreds, their tens, and their ones.
57 plus 126 equals 383.
Oh, that's true. Hold on just a minute. Okay, so of course, partial sums, they lined it up kind of odd, but I think the other way is better. Just make sure when you do it, just so I don't get confused when I'm grading, do your hundreds, which up here, and then your ones down here. I don't know why it's like that, but he still got the same answer.
The three strategies. Is the sum the same each time? Why?
So why is it the same every time? Well, because in each strategy, we're still being conscious about place value. We're still paying attention to our hundreds and our tens and ones place, right? Although you solve it differently, it will still get you to the same answer because you're being aware about, oh, we have this many hundreds. Oh, we have this many tens. Oh, we have this many ones, right? So you're still paying attention to those things in all three of these strategies.
The sum is the same. Each strategy is different, but the odds are the same each time. 257 and 126. If the atoms are the same, then the sum will be the same, no matter which strategy is used. You know how different addition strategies work. You are good at math.
All right, so we're gonna practice using these strategies. So I have an example here. I have 157 plus 127. The first strategy that I want to do is I want to do the number line strategy. So of course, I'm gonna just write that number up here. So 157, oops, plus, I think it was 127. So I'm gonna change my colors. I'm gonna change to a lovely blue. And of course, I'm gonna start with my bigger number because it's easier. So I'm gonna start over here with 157. I know that looks funky, but whatever. And remember, you're gonna hop based on place value. And in the number 127, how many hundreds do we have? We have 100. So I'm gonna do one hop of plus 100. Now, since we're adding 100, the only place value that's gonna change in this number is the hundreds place, right? It's gonna go up. So now it's 257. So I'm gonna write 257. All right, I'm gonna change my lovely colors again, and I'm gonna do a red. So now we already did our 100, so how many tens do I have? Well, I have 2 tens, so you can do 2 hops, 1, 2, of plus 10, or you could do 1 hop of plus 20. It's totally up to you. I like to do the separate hops just because it makes it more clear. So let's do this hop first, okay? So remember, the only place that's gonna change is this, unless regrouping is required. So 257 plus 10, it will be 267. So 267 because we added just 1 10. And then from there, we're going to do it again, 267 plus 10, 277. So it's going to be 277, all right? Now we're going to get to the easy part. I'm going to change my color to an orange. And our easy part is we only have 7 ones. So maybe I'm going to split that up. Yeah, I think I'm going to split that up, you guys. I'm going to do 1 hop of plus 3. Ooh, that can, okay. And then 1 hop of plus 4. So 277, if I count on 3, 277, 278, 279, 280, okay? Notice that we had our tens place change too. You know why? Because that requires regrouping. If we were doing our blocks and our partial sums, we would have had to regroup. So that's why it's just very good to keep in mind, oh, this might require regrouping. So it might change in place value for other places like the tens place. Now, easy. 280 plus 284 is, or I just said the answer, 280 plus 4 is 284. So 284 should be our answer. Well, guess what? There's other strategies we can try to make sure our answer was correct. So let's do that. All right, so let's do on this side, let's do our partial sums. Let's do partial sums because that's the other one that I think challenges you guys. I might need some space for this. Let's see, let me erase that real quick. Okay, pens. Okay, I'm gonna do it like this, H. So I'm gonna draw my chart, HTO. Remember, hundreds, tens, and ones. Okay. And of course, the first thing I'm going to do is draw my original numbers into my chart. So I have 157 and 127. 27. And these are the numbers that we're adding. So I'm going to put that line there in my addition sign. So now we're going to partial sum it up. So I'm going to start with my hundreds, which is 100 plus 100, because we only have a 1 in the hundreds place for each number. So it is, if I can fit it in here, 100 plus 100. And what is 100 plus 100? 200. Now remember what I said? If it's easier for you to line up your numbers and do your work separate and then put it in here, you can do that too. But I can do it in my head. And I know a lot of y'all can do it in your head. I bet you my whole class could do it in their head because my class is full of smarty pants. So now I'm gonna do that. And now we're gonna do our tens. And our tens, we have 5 tens, which is the same as 50. Oh, that was a weird looking 5. 50 plus 2 tens, which is the same as 20. 50 plus 20 is what? It is 70. Now, like I said, you could line up your numbers here if you prefer to do that and not do it in your head. And then I'm going to change my colors so we can do our ones. I'm going to use a blue. And then we're going to do 7 plus 7. Now let's see, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Or if you knew it, I wonder if y'all did, your double strategy, we know 7 plus 7 is 14. That's a doubles number. So we're going to go ahead and put 14. Remember not to do that thing I told you, don't put it in the hundreds place. There's no hundreds there, right? Look at that, Ms. Ortiz forgot to draw that line. And now we get to the fun part where we just add up our partial sums. I'm going to change my color back to black. And let's see, 0 plus 0 plus 4 is just 4. 0 plus 7 is 7. So then 7 plus 1 is 8. And then 2 plus obviously nothing is just 2, 284. Now did we get that? Yep, we got the same answer there. So this has to be right. But we can still check our work and do it using our good old HTO blocks that we love so much. So now we get to do the fun, easy part that we love. We love to draw our base 10 blocks. I know I do. I'm sure y'all prefer that one too. But I wanted you guys to get a good feel for all the other ones. So the first thing I'm going to do, what's this clip? This moves. I'm going to, excuse me, had a late night doing some work. So I'm going to draw my first number. We have 100, 5 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we need to draw 127, and I'm just going to change my color so y'all can see the difference. And we have 100, 2 tens, 1, 2, and 7 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can already see that we're going to have to regroup. So I'm going to change my colors. I'm going to count starting at your ones. Always start with your ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. Circle it. Cross it out and trade it for a 10. And count your leftover ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 ones. Oh, so far it seems right. Now we're going to count our tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No regrouping here because we didn't reach 10, so it's just 8. And then we have 284. Well, look at that. We got the same answer with each strategy. So sometimes when you choose one strategy, it's good to try out another way just to check and see if your work was right. And I could already tell when I did the number line and I did it with partial sums and I got the same answer. That just kind of tells me, oh, I'm right, I think. But it helps to do two strategies just to check your work. So that's really it for today. So today you're going to do your workbook practice and your quick check. Make sure that you make sure you do your quick check, please, just because it kind of helps me know where you're at and what you don't understand and understand. And that's really it for today. Y'all stay safe and do your work like you always do.